Greetings everyone, and I hope you're all fine and dandy out there in collecting land. And welcome back to the channel for another 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. And today we're going to be taking a deep dive into Aug Toys' 1/6 scale take on Gurney Halleck, aka Josh Brolin, the legendary War Master of House Atreides, as he appears in the first episode of Denis Villeneuve's planned Dune trilogy. The review will take the usual format. We'll have a quick look at the box, then it'll be down onto the table for a look at all the accessories that come with the figure, and then it'll be out with the Swordmaster himself for a close-up look, and then we'll be wrapping the whole thing up with the usual showcase at the end. But before we get into it, the usual shout-outs and backgrounds. Firstly, a massive thank you to everyone who's supported and subscribed to the channel. You are all amazing. And to those of you watching the channel but haven't subscribed yet, come on, jump off the ornithopter of indecision and onto the giant sandworm that is Go Figure. Hitting that subscribe button and bell notification icon are cost and pain free, and you'll be helping us to continue doing what we're doing here at Go Figure, so please mash those buttons. So, background. I'm going to keep this short. I could bang on for hours about Dune. When I was young, it seemed like there were 3 ways to go with your reading habits: Lord of the Rings, Asimov's Foundation, or Frank Herbert's Dune. I was Dune all the way. I love the books. I even quite like David Lynch's 1984 take on Dune as well. But it took the master of science fiction, Denis Villeneuve, in my opinion, to bring Herbert's Dune to the big screen the way I'd imagined it when I read the books when I was a lot younger all those years ago. But that's enough of my Arakis ramblings. Onto the box. So let's take a look at it. It's the usual Aug Toys box, for those familiar with Aug Toys. Shoebox design, nice cardboard, not the best quality, but most certainly not the worst I've ever seen. I do like what Aug Toys do with their boxes and the presentation. I have the first Paul Atreides figure, the dress uniform figure in the collection, and I was suitably impressed with the packaging of that figure, and I'm suitably impressed with the packaging of this one as well. What you've got on the front here is the Dune logo. You've got a picture of, this is actually Josh Brolin, this is not the figure itself. You've got this sort of Atreides style design on here. It says House Atreides at the bottom, 1/6 scale collectible figure, and you've got Aug Toys and Legendary Pictures logo in the bottom left hand corner. Obviously this is a fully licensed figure, fully licensed product. So what have we got on the sides? On the sides it says House Atreides, and you've got this sort of rather nice design going on here. It's rather sophisticated design. I think that's repeated on the other side. Yes, it is. Let's take it off. Actually, take it off the turntable. See if we get this in shot. See what it says on the top. On the top, it says Gurney Halleck, and you've got this sort of relief map type pattern going on here, which is done in a sort of a shiny, slightly offset. I don't know if the camera's picking that up. Yeah, there you go. But that's a nice touch. Looks very, very classy, very, very quality, shall we say. And that's repeated on the bottom as well, that same design. Around the back, we have, once again, the Dune logo at the top there. It says Gurney Halleck, House Atreides. And then you've got all your usual warnings and credits and so on and so forth on the back here. Don't piss this figure off, or you might find a legion of Sadokar paying you a visit in the middle of the night. But yeah, that's the box. Very nice it is too. As I said, it's I do like the presentation that Aug Toys have done with these boxes. I'm just going to take the top off this box just so we can have a quick look inside, because I believe that there is their usual inlay card. Yeah, let's get it up onto the back onto the turntable again. Yeah. And they did this with the Paul Atreides figures, although the design was slightly different. It's just a really, really nice touch, and you've got this this inlay card here, which you can use for photography or just or whatever you feel like. And it's just a nice touch from Aug Toys, and you've got Aug Toys and Legendary there at the bottom as well. You just lift this off, and the figure is underneath. This is a brand new figure, literally has just come in. Literally minutes ago, and it's just gone straight in front of the camera. So this is a bit of a voyage of discovery for all of us. But what we'll do next is what we always do, is we will dive down onto the table and have a look at all the accessories that come with your Gurney Halleck figure. Okay, so here we are, down on the table with all the accessories that come with your Aug Toys Gurney Halleck figure. Let's have a quick look at them. Not a vast amount to go at here, but we'll start with the hands, as we always do. You know me and my hands. There's a pair of open palm hands already on the figure itself, and another 3 pairs here. So you've got a total of 8 hands. That's 4 pairs. So nice to see, a good array of hands. We'll grab a couple at random. We'll start with these fisted hands. Actually, you've got 2 fisted hands. What look like 2 gripping hands for the knife. Yeah, that's that one and that one. 2 fisted hands, and then sort of 2 pointing hands, and then 2 open palm hands on the figure, which we'll take a look at when we bring it out. We'll start with one of these fisted hands, get it into camera, and have a look at what we're dealing with here. The colours look absolutely spot on. Looks like a good sculpt. You've got this sort of grey glove effect going on. The colours look right. There's some silver and white dry brushing on there to pick out the details. There's sculpted in seams. Probably the most important part is this armour section on the hand itself, and that's pretty well done actually. The colours look screen accurate to me. I've referred back to the film on more occasions than I care to remember, and I've looked at some stills as well prior to this review, and the colour is absolutely spot on. The proportions are right. And it's essentially just it's a couple of washes on here by the looks of it, and maybe some dry brushing to give it that metallic look, and then you've got these 2 black rivets painted on. Did notice one of the hands, unfortunately. I think it's this one. Yeah, we'll bring this one into shot. Just this one hand. It looks like the paint applications there, they missed the head of the sculpted in rivet and they've gone slightly to the right, but it's only the one hand out of all of these hands, so a minor niggle there really, and barely noticeable. The hands themselves are a sort of soft to medium, which is good for gripping accessories, but not that there are that many accessories, just the one really. But hands nicely sculpted, very nicely painted, screen accurate, colours on point. So getting off to a good start here, apart from that tiny little miscalculation in the paint application there. So we'll put the hands to one side. What else do you get? We'll take a look at the base, before we move on to the smaller stuff. Actually, before we do that, we'll just cover the fact that there are 2 extra hand pegs thrown in, which is always good to see. So put those with the hands. We'll take a look at this base now. People who have Star Wars figures will recognise this style of base. It's got a heck of a footprint actually. It's a big base. It's the same with the Paul Atreides dress version. That's got a big footprint as well. But it's all plastic. We'll take a look at the bottom first. There are no feet on here, so if you're putting this on the glass shelf or anywhere high up or anything like that, exercise caution. You don't want it sliding around. It would be nice to see some foam feet on here, some felt feet maybe. But you've just got Dune in the centre there, Aug Toys Limited, and that's literally everything on the underside of the base. It's sort of this square design as with the Paul Atreides figure, and I believe this is a metal nameplate. Yeah, it's cold to the touch, and it says Dune in the lettering from the movie itself, Gurney Halleck. Nice to see a metal nameplate on there, and on top you've got this sand effect. Raised, as you can see, sand effect here, which is nicely done. It's got a texture to it. There's some paint applications on there. There's not just the one. So in between the lines in the sand here, you've got a darker paint wash to give it that depth. The only issue that strikes me straight away out of the box with this is they've gone for the 2 feet impressions there, which is going to sort of limit you in posing. I mean, I know this figure isn't really designed for ridiculously dynamic posing, but that sort of strikes me as maybe limiting it to a sort of very vanilla museum pose. Maybe would have liked to have seen a little bit more of more options there for posing it. I suppose, I mean, obviously you can always pose it out of those impressions in the sand, but it will make it that much not that much harder. Obviously, use the crotch grabber though. Yeah, all one piece of plastic, as I mentioned. Comes with a standard issue crotch grabber, which you simply fix into that section there, and that's your stand complete. And very nice it is too. Very simple. But very effective, and a massive footprint here, so it's going to take up a lot of space in the display. But that's the base. We'll put that to one side. And finally, the only other thing you get is the Atreides short sword or knife. Now, this is pretty nicely done. Some nice paint applications and sculpting on here. There's some silver dry brushing on this black painted handle. It's all plastic, obviously, to pick out the details. Just relatively simple, not too sharp, so not going to damage yourself too much if you get careless with this. But yeah, got a couple of paint applications on the blade itself to give it that depth. There's a sort of a gunmetal grey here, and then a lighter silver wash there, and some dry brushing on the edge of the blade as well. So yeah, screen accuracy's there, the scale's right, the proportion's right, and looks pretty much on point. Something I did notice, though, however, and we will bring this this small piece into shot. This is actually the sheath for the knife, and this simply has a little plastic clip on the back there. You clip it onto the relevant area of the figure itself, and it's supposed to hold the knife. Now, I tried this off camera before we started the review, and it is supposed to, and I know this because I am utterly sad, nerdy type when it comes to Dune. But this is supposed to fit in here. Now, this is not going in. It's just not having it. And I don't want to damage the paintwork on the blade of the knife by forcing it. So I think it's going to be maybe a hairdryer or some hot water off camera here in between shots to try and get this thing to work. It is meant to sit that way, and I know for the blade is supposed to go in that way, but it will. There you go. It's finally worked. I suspect then there maybe have been some plastic in there that was catching it, but yeah, it's worked. So good to see. I won't reshoot this, but I would say exercise caution if you come across the same problem if you're picking this figure up. Yeah, that can be a little tough in the first instance, but it does go. So yeah, that's the knife and the knife holder, and that's pretty much everything you get with the figure accessories wise. So what we'll do next is we will bring out Gurney himself. We will get him onto this rather huge stand, onto the turntable, and take a close-up look at him. Okay, so here he is. It's none other than Gurney Halleck himself, straight out of the box, straight onto that rather spacious stand, and straight onto the turntable. And first impressions, I have to say, are pretty good. The proportions look right to me. The colours look right. The paint looks correct. The costume looks screen accurate. The outfit itself looks absolutely on point. Head sculpt looks good. Yeah, very, very impressed indeed. I've got him some distance away simply because of the size of this stand. But let's stop him from spinning and try and get him a little bit closer into shot. We will be getting him off the stand and taking an up-close look like we always do. But yeah, let's just bring him a little bit closer in. But yeah, first impressions are very, very good indeed. So yeah, let's get him off this stand and do what we always do. Start at the bottom and work our way up. Let's take a look at these boots first. No split cut boot design here, all one piece of sculpted plastic. What we're looking at here is a foot that's pegged straight into the body by the looks of it. You've got some sculpted tread underneath, which is nice to see. No weathering on there, but it's good to see that they put some tread on there. There's a little bit of weathering on these on the front of these boots if the camera's picking this up. Looks like there's been a little bit of silver or white dry brushing on there. Might need a little bit more weathering, but on the whole, these outfits were pretty clean in the film. They're only really seen at the opening of the movie itself, and for maybe a couple of scenes after that. Don't see them that often, but yeah, let's take a look at the actual the outfit itself. So these. Let's take a look at this armour on these boots. It looks like there's some sculpted armour on the back there. Let's flip this guy round. Yeah, there's some sculpted armour on the back of the boots, which is screen accurate, and it's got that same high level of paint application on there. There's some dry brushing on there to give it that metallic look. It's the right colour and the right proportions as well. Moving up, you've got these, what feels like possibly, and I'll try and get these fully into shot, will feel like it's a man-made fibre here. It feels like a nylon possibly. The stitch work is really nice. You've got different sections of nylon. You've got this rib section at the knees, this darker section about thigh height, and then it goes back into the same grey again. But there's multiple greys as well. There's shadings of grey rather than just the same grey. But yeah, the material feels of a good quality. The stitch work is on point as far as I can tell, and you know me and my 6 scale stitch work. I am really finicky when it comes to 6 scale stitch work being done right, as it can throw a figure off, as regulars to the channel will know. But yeah, the stitch work here looks very good. You've got these rib sections underneath the knees with these what feel like, yeah, you've got a plastic armour piece under there as well. All this armour is plastic, there's no metal here. It's not a particularly heavy figure, so yeah, all plastic armour. Working our way up, you've got these plastic armour sections on the side here. These feel like they are, I would say they're probably glued, or yeah, I would say they're glued on. You've got these black sections here. Well, they're a dark sort of gunmetal silver underneath the first section of the body armour itself, going up into this grey section. Actually, probably worth at this point, actually, and I'll just grab my phone here at this point. Let's just pop him back on the stand for a second, because I did some comparisons. I mean, obviously I revisited the film, as I said at the top there, but also as well had a quick look at some stills. Probably not the ideal way to view this, but through 2 screens. But what I can see here is pretty much on point colour-wise. I think it's probably losing something filming the phone itself, and it's giving it a more blue, probably a silvery, bluey, purpley hue, which may be coming from these background lights as well. But side by side, yeah, it's pretty much on point. Possibly do with some more weathering in that midsection there. But overall, those colours are right. There is something else that's come out of looking at these stills, but we'll get to that when we get to their head sculpt. So I'll put that to one side, getting back off the stand again and back into shot. So yeah, the body armour is pretty good, up through the midriff. We'll check the articulation actually while we're here. We'll go down to these knees now. Yeah, you've got a double joint at these knees, so you've got plenty of give there. Both knees, yeah, there's what feels like, there's not a vast amount of movement in the upper leg section here. I'm not sure why that is. That's probably down to the amount of armour around the joint area there. Whether that's on a ball joint, I'm not so sure, but yeah, not a huge amount. So articulation not so good there, but I suppose that's to be expected when you're looking at an armoured figure. Continuing up, the armour's gradients are seen in the paint applications there, and there's all over this armour. If the camera's catching this, there's this dry brushing to give it that weathered look, almost a dusty look. As pointed out there, maybe these 2 sections in the centre there, when you compare it to the stills, probably a little bit more weathered in these crevices here, but it's not a deal breaker. There is some weathering on there, but yeah, that nylon suit continues down the arms. The shoulder pads now. These shoulder pads are attached by Velcro. As you can see, there's a lot of play in there, so there's a lot of room for movement in the arms. The body feels like it's quite a decent quality underneath all this, but yeah, there's plenty of play in the arms there, so that these sections can move. And once again, the weathering on there is really nice on those shoulders. Take a look around the back, up top. Yeah, once again, those different shades of grey going on, and you've got these nylon belts which fasten all the body armour on. Coming down the arms, like the knees, you've got this plastic armour plating, well, to simulate metal sewn into the nylon itself on the arms, and that seems to work quite well. It's not moving around when bending the arm there, so yeah, that's good to see. Coming down to the ends of the arms, you've got, obviously, these are the 2 open palm hands that we didn't cover in the accessories section. You've got the armour plating on the wrist area and the forearm area, which is held on by what looks like elastic. Yeah, that feels like elastic. And the same level of paint applications there. And then you've got, it's not asymmetrical, because on this side of the figure you've got, and I think, and I called myself a Dune nerd earlier on and a Dune geek, but I can't figure out whether that is actually the shield generator that they have to slow down fast projectiles and blades coming towards them. I'm assuming it is, but I'm sure somebody will correct me in the comment section below if I'm wrong with that one. But yeah, so overall, very, very good. The armour is on point, is screen accurate, the colours are right, the body feels good, the articulation's good, and just the way they've thought this through. so that you can get the maximum amount of posability out of it is very good as well. So, yeah, all looking good for Aug Toys so far. So onto the elephant in the room, the head sculpt. Right, let's get this in as close in as we possibly can, and straight away. I mean, obviously I'd seen stills of this prior to ordering this figure. Completely forgot to mention as well at the top there, big shout out to William Wang over at One Man's Hobby for providing me with this figure. There will be a link to his website in the description below. If it's anything 1/6 scale you're after, or anything quarter scale for that matter, take a look at the website. I'm sure I'll be more than willing to oblige. But yeah, back to the matter in hand and Mr. Brolin. So yeah, straight away I am very, very impressed with this head sculpt. I really am. Not the easiest person in the world to capture, Mr. Brolin, I thought in some of the promotional shots that I saw of this that it was slightly off, but I know it's a cliche, but this is actually one of those head sculpts that's better in hand. It really is. I mean, if you look at the profile on there is damn near perfect, if not perfect. But the paint applications are really, really good to give it that screen texturing. You've got creasing in the forehead. It doesn't look like that's actually been sculpted in. It looks like that's been painted in. You've got Gurney Halleck's sort of signature scar on the side of his face there, which is really nicely done. There's depth to it, and it's been given some paint applications to give it even more depth. The eyes are absolutely spot on. They really are. They're nice and glassy. They're the right colour. The skin tones here really do stand out as being well painted as well. As I mentioned before, the only thing, the hair. The hair, I'm not going to say that that's soft. I don't think it is soft. I think that's absolutely spot on. The style's right. It's gradiated down to the back. There are flecks of grey in there, which once again is screen accurate. The only thing I would say is this beard, and it's not the sculpt really, because I think the sculpt's about right, but I will bring that shot back in again that we were looking at before, just for reference purposes. If I can get this in shot without it catching the light too badly, and having referred back to the film, yeah, there is more white in his beard, something I could probably do myself, to be honest with you. It's just a case of touching that chin beard up a little bit, but yeah, the only real thing there that I can say about that head sculpt is maybe that portion of the beard there at the front should be a little bit whiter. But overall, I think that is an absolutely on-point head sculpt. I really do, from pretty much every angle, if not all angles. That is Josh Brolin, absolutely nailed on. So yeah, there you have it. That is Gurney Halleck, courtesy of Aug Toys, from the first Dune film. And that pretty much about wraps it up for this review. Score out of 10. Tough one. I am struggling to find anything wrong with this figure. I really am. At first I thought the issue with the knife and the sheath was going to knock the score down, but obviously that seemed to fix itself on camera. The proportions are on point. There is one thing that did strike me, but I mean, this isn't really technically something that should mark it down. It's more of a personal taste. I would like to have seen a helmeted head sculpt, because the House Atreides armor actually comes complete with a helmet, and there is no helmet with this one. It would be nice to have been for Aug Toys to have thrown in a helmeted head sculpt, a swap out head sculpt, but you know, it is what it is. I think as it stands, I am struggling to find anything wrong with it, and if I can't find something wrong with the figure, I've got to give it a 10. Maybe something might come out of me living with this figure for a while, I don't know. But as it stands, we're going to stick with a 10 on this one. Actually, no, I'm going to bring it down to a 9.8 because of the painting of the beard. I know that sounds really, really stingy and Scroogey, but I'm going to do it anyway. We'll call it a 9.8 because the accuracy of that beard is not on point. But yeah, everything else 100% nailed on as far as I'm concerned. So I hope this review has been useful for you. Please pop a comment in the comment section below. What's your take on this figure? What's your take on Aug Toys? I'd be fascinated to hear. Are you a Dune fan? Are you not a Dune fan? Even if you're not a Dune fan, let me know what you think of the figure as a figure. I'd be fascinated to hear, as I say. So yeah, pop a comment in the comment section below. And if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon. We have lots more content coming up on the channel. And as always, we'll briefly run through it before we wrap the whole thing up with the showcase. So what else have we got coming in? Well, to go with Gurney Halleck, we've got Duke Leto as well. And he is due in literally any time now. So possibly tomorrow. So that'll be going in front of the camera as soon as it arrives. We've got the in-art Batman. That's on its way to us. Staying on the Dune theme, but in a different scale. We've got the quarter scale Prime 1 and Blitzway still suit Paul Atreides statue. That's on its way to us. VTS Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII Remake. SW Toys, Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible. That's another one on its way to us. Premier Toys Doof Warrior from Mad Max Fury Road. Looking forward to that one. Apart from the in-art Batman, another one of the big ones is the KP Caustic Plastics Horror Dracula. Really looking forward to that. It's the deluxe edition twin pack that hopefully will be shipping soon. We've got the Blitzway Astro Boy version 2.0. That as well. A shed load of present toy stuff coming in 6 scale. Yeah. Lots and lots of stuff, and there's also loads of NECA stuff coming up in the 12 scale world and more quarter scale statues. Yeah, lots and lots of stuff. I won't go on, I will be here all night. So I suppose all that remains for me to say is a massive thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves, and from me and Gurney Halleck, it's goodbye, and until next time, look after yourselves, and it's over to the showcase. Hey!